PTF and JK back with you on the In the Money Media YouTube channel, looking at this loaded Pegasus Day Pick 5. Pegasus Day, first great day of racing in 2025. This video is sponsored by our friends at DK Horse. Make sure you download the app today and check out all they have to offer over at dkhorse.com. PTF and JK. JK, without further ado, let's dive right in. How do you want to light this candle in terms of the late pick 5 with the grade 3 McKnight?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that these first parts of these races are pretty complicated, right? Some pretty wide open fields, some big full fields, some grass racing in the mix. I'm going to be pretty spready throughout the first part of the sequence. To get started here, I thought this was more of a 1-3-11. Typically, I don't love when these West Coast turf horses come over and try to run against the East Coast turf horses, but I do think the 11 Divine Propo makes a little bit of sense. But Ohana Honor is, I realize, a very impossible for me to say, is one that I want to make sure I have in the mix. A horse that I've always kind of thought was one that could potentially turn the corner and being a top turf horse. So Ohana Honor, I want to make sure I have in the mix. I'm going to go 1-3-11 to get started.
I'm with you on Ohana Honor and Divine Propo. One other I'll throw in the mix for me is the 6-runner Missed the Cut. Having that local prep, has some races to run back to, decent 12 furlong form. I'm always looking for horses I'm confident are going to get this by USA standards marathon distance, and that's why I'm going to look to that trio in the McKnight as we pivot to the third of the 3 Pegasus World Cup official races. This is the filly and mare turf. I'm spreading in here, JK. The 9-runner Craval Doro maybe gets the best trip, I thought. The 11 In Our Time, I thought could maybe wire him for Safi Joseph. The 4 Breath Away looks like the form and figure horse. Flow move up out of the last, closing into those blue fractions. Will they go fast enough to set up her late run? That was the question. And I'm going to throw in Caitlin, her greatness. She's just very classy. I think she's as good, if not better, on turf. I will give you a stat, though. Kevin Attard, great trainer, known more for his work north of the border. Only 2 for 57 with just 30% of those runners in the money at Gulfstream over the last 5 years. Makes me think maybe he starts them slow and gets them to peak a little bit later in the year. But I love her so much, I'm going to use her as a deep backup. Those are the 4 for me. How do you see this one?
Yeah, another one that I thought was really tough. I'm going to spread like crazy. You had some horses that I think I used 6 horses. You've got some that I haven't even used, which I think is interesting. I think that this race for me, the theme is a little bit of some of these 3-year-olds turning into 4-year-olds who had really productive 3-year-old years, and I'm looking for them to take a step forward. Maybe they don't seem quick enough on paper from their 3-year-old numbers, but maybe those will get a little bit better with some maturity. A couple of those in particular, the 3 Destino Doro, another one that for Brad Cox that I thought was always showed a little bit of talent. And unfortunately had an interrupted year and didn't get to see her as much as we'd like to, looking for her to have a big 4-year-old year. And then Classic Q, another one who's got that weapon of speed and tactical ability that I think will go a long way for Classic Q as these races get a little bit longer, as that horse grows up, gets a little bit more mature for Mark Cassie. I'm going to use 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the old girl Proctor Street. By one of my favorite horses, in Proctor's Ledge, both trained by Brendan Walsh, another one who could make a lot of noise. So I'm going to spread in this race as well.
That's the 8-runner Proctor Street, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11 JK spread. I had some other ideas as well with runners like Breath Away and Caitlin, her greatness. Let's keep it moving. JK, we go to the dirt race, or one of the 2 dirt races in this sequence. This is the grade 2 Inside Information. We'll keep our analysis with you.
Yeah, another one where I felt like you got to stretch, to spread a little bit. There are some trainer changes in here that I think are interesting as well, that I think could impact how this race is played, run, bet. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11 for me. The one that I thought was interesting is Sterling Silver, who's moving away from the Belmont barn, but ran well last time despite that move away from the Hall of Fame trainer. I think probably one that's still in the mix, going the right direction. Patricia Ann, another one switching to the barn of Jose D'Angelo. Looking at the numbers alone, moving from Carlos Martin to Jose D'Angelo off the success he's had, winning back-to-back. When I say back-to-back, I mean on the card, geographically on the card, back-to-back Breeders' Cup races last year. I think Jose D'Angelo is also going to turn the corner this year and become one of those top trainers in the country. So this is another spready race for me, but those are a couple that I want to make sure I have in the mix.
We're very similar. I did have Sterling Silver as the top pick. I thought that the 11 Grand Job was interesting, maybe with a wire-to-wire chance. I thought the 3-runner Jody's Pride might be able to trip out as well. Let's go to the first of the grade ones, the Pegasus Turf. Who you got, JK?
Yeah, the Pegasus Turf, another one. I wish I wanted, when I got to this race, because I had been so spready early, I was like, I'm going to take a stand here. I'm going to find a horse that I love, and I'm going to single that horse, and I'm going to just kind of go single to finish this thing up, make the ticket affordable, and that didn't work. I had to spread here as well. 2, 4, 6, and 10. A couple of them in particular. The 2 program trading was one that was sitting right on the edge of being a good horse, and then he just kind of tailed off. But I do think that he found himself in some deeper waters. And I think that this is a situation where Chad can hit the reset button with this horse. He's drawn well towards the inside, which I think will help him go a long way. So I wanted to make sure I had the 2 program trading. 1 Stripe, South African bred horse where he comes to Grand Motion a little bit late, runs well enough in some tough spots as well. And now gets to kind of hit the reset button again moving forward. And then the 6 and the 9, or 6 and the 10, I'll use Call Sign 7 and Cugino that leads right into my single, and a horse I'm really excited about watching run on Saturday in this Pegasus World Cup.
I'm really interested in program trading. I think the best races are fast enough to win this. I think you're dealing with the class of the field and a trainer who can get them laid out for big efforts. I'll mention a quick long shot in the 3-runner Beach Gold, who I thought ran a subtly good race last time, and I just think figures to be overpriced. I take your point on 1 Stripe as well, reunited with the South African jockey. Maybe they can get a tune out of that one here in the Pegasus Turf. Next up, though, the race that really gives the day its name. It's the Pegasus World Cup. I can tell you've got something strong here the way you've spread in these first 4 legs. Who's it going to be?
Well, you've got the defending champion, White Barrio, who I just feel like has probably seen better days in terms of his best performances on the racetrack. With that said, I think there's a horse in here who we talk about. There's a million ways for these horses to get beat. We've seen them all in our time as horse players. The inside horse, the 1 Disco Time, has avoided all of those possible ways to get beat. He's an undefeated horse. He's gotten faster in every race. He's bred well. He's trained well. He's ridden well. His style, I think he's drawn well. And I think that there's going to be some buzz around him, obviously, because he's undefeated. But there's going to be enough horses in here that I think people will try to get cute with, try to put in the mix. A horse like White Barrio, Matticat Road, and the list goes on of horses that I think will take some money as people trying to beat a horse that hasn't really thrust himself on to the main scene, right? The St. Louis Derby is not one that most people point to as a huge prep, a huge lead up to the Pegasus World Cup or some of the big races you'll see throughout 2026. I think Disco Time is the best horse in this race. And honestly, he might be one of the best horses in training outside of the big horse in Sovereignty.
I respect him. He'll be tested for class. He'll be on my tickets. What about his stablemate, the 7-runner Tappan Street? This is one, came back. I think it was just a prep. Public workout last time. This horse looked like a major contender for the Kentucky Derby last year. Let's see if he can't get the job done here, but I'll certainly be using the 1 and the 7. I've got a full analysis of this. Sign up for our free In the Money Media newsletter, inthemoneypodcast.com/email. If you want to check that out, make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel as well. You can also look for the In the Money Players podcast wherever you get your pods. Thanks one more time to JK, and thanks also so much to our friends at DK Horse. Make sure you download that app today and check out dkhorse.com.